On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline.
So let me give you, because I geek out about science and everything that I talk about. I'm like, no, it's science based. We have hard numbers. I'm not just like on my soapbox preaching, like it is hard numbers. And so 72% of business owners report mental health concerns. 72%. And it's because being an entrepreneur exemplifies those things, right? It taps into our deepest insecurities, the things we're most worried about, financial insecurities, like it heightens everything. 13% report a loss of focus. Well, that comes from the overwhelm. The overwhelm, especially like you were saying, Jenny, in those first 4 years of trying to do everything on your own. In the beginning, it's a one-person show a lot of times when entrepreneurs are starting from the ground up. So that 13%, I was like, are we sure that number isn't a little too low? Like, I think that number needs to be a little higher.
You need to pump that number up.
I can probably account for like 4 or 5 of those percent. Like, right? Let's just add on 4 or 5% just for me and we'll call it even.
Totally.
Yes. And then 9% of, and this is like, we're talking successful business owners. We're not even talking in the beginning. 9% report burnout. And that's directly related to the no boundaries, to having all of that pressure for finances, for longevity of like, this is how I'm feeding my family, that internal, not just like the external of financial, that internal of this is my calling, this is who I'm meant to be, and I want it so badly. And so then I put the pedal to the metal and burn myself out because I haven't learned those boundaries. And so that is why coaching is so beneficial, right? Coaching and mental health, so beneficial, because just like anything, you have to find the right person first and foremost. You have to find the right match. Just like there's some coaches out there who aren't the right match, or, maybe don't have the level of training and experience. There's therapists out there who may not be the right match and may not have the same level of skills, right? And so it's really finding that person and then getting equipped with those skills to be able to have the boundaries, to prevent the burnout, to be able to have the mindset skills, to, instead of getting stuck in overwhelm and being like, oh my God, I suck, I can't get anything done. And then you shame spiral down into complete loss of focus and no motivation. Like understanding what are the 5 thieves of motivation and what is the antidote for those. All of that is stuff that you get in that coaching and personal development space. And you asked, why is it so important and what are the benefits? It's so important because we are emotional beings. Try as we might with all of our technological advances to make ourselves into these like little advanced robotics, where we're like, no, I can compartmentalize. It's not true. We're emotional beings. Okay. And so just like embrace it, accept it. Like we have emotions and we're interacting with fellow emotional beings. That is part of business. Everything that we do is interacting. When you're a business owner, you're not doing business with a machine. You're doing business with people. It is people who are buying your product, people who are buying your services. And so it's 2 emotional beings interacting in a messy world. That's why it's so important to have that inner work and those personal development and working on you as the person.
All I can say is I feel very seen as a business owner. As someone, Jenny and I were just taking in our notes document and Jenny said she's basically saying everything that we've gone through, because Jenny and I both have been very focused in different ways on our own personal development and growth. Mm-hmm. And recognizing everything that we've gone through and the work that we've had to do on ourselves to even have a hope of being successful, right?
Yep.
So other than hiring a coach or going to therapy, or in my case, both,
yes,
what are some things that we can work on ourselves to help get us going in the right direction?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so other than going to a therapist, other than working with a coach, there's things like, reading self-help books, listening to amazing podcasts like this, where, or personal development podcasts. Even things, to me, I say it always starts. So change, the first stage of change is awareness. So just increasing your level of awareness of how often am I having these thoughts that are making or taking me down into overwhelm, that are making me feel like I'm losing focus and losing motivation. So step one is always increase your level of awareness. How often am I thinking these things? How often am I sitting there going, oh, well, I have to do the laundry before I can send that important email. And oh, now the laundry's done, but I'm going to answer this email instead of that important email to know, oh, wait, the reason I'm delaying that is because I'm scared that it's not going to be perfect, that my response to them isn't going to be perfect, or I'm scared of being visible and I don't want to put myself out there to send that email to ask that person if they want to work with me or if they want to buy my product or whatever. So we do all these other things. And so if we're not aware that that's what's going on, we don't even know it's happening. And how can we change something that we don't even know is happening? So I would say awareness. And then the next thing I would say is to have an accountability buddy. So what I mean by that is somebody that you trust, that you can receive and accept influence from. So one of the things I say to people is, because this is who I am, right? It's not just what I do, this is who I am. And so I'm constantly, when people are talking, I'll see something of like, oh, there's a limiting belief, or, oh, maybe if I gave them this piece of information, that would be a breakthrough for them. But when you're sitting at a Mexican restaurant at a birthday party having drinks, not everybody wants to hear where their breakthrough could be. And so what I'll say is, hey, are you open to receiving influence on that right now? And I'm basically asking them for permission. And if they say yes, then I'll say what it is that I noticed about what they said, and do that. Having that person in your life that when they see you or, doing the laundry and unloading the dishwasher instead of sending the email, or when they hear you saying the things like, I should be doing this, or I didn't send that email out because I was just so busy with all these other things, they can lovingly say to you, hey, are you in a place to accept influence on this right now? And if you say yes, then they can be like, I noticed that you did 5 other things instead of sending that email. Do you think you're nervous and avoiding sending that email? What do you think's going on there? And just bring that level, that awareness, where you to front and center for you in such a loving, nurturing way.
Jenny and I, while you were talking, we're looking at each other through our cameras, because that is what we do. In fact, I will assign her Post-it notes, be like, hey, I saw this quote that I thought was really good. I'm writing it on a Post-it note and I think you should too. And I make her show them to me so that we know that the other is doing it. So we have things that we work on. But the one thing I want to really talk about, especially with that first step, is the expectation that we're going to get it right the first time. Like, you may catch yourself doing it, the putting off the email thing, you might catch yourself doing it once out of 10 times at first.
Right. Exactly.
And then you'll catch yourself doing it 2 out of 10 times. And eventually you'll catch yourself 9 out of 10 times. I don't know anybody who catches themselves 10 out of 10 times.
Exactly.
It's a process, right?
Yep. And that's the thing that I love, right? Is I'm like, y'all, let's just be real. Like, as humans, we had to learn everything. And this is a skill just like anything else that can be learned and can be practiced. Like, so us thinking we should have already known these things and have been born this way, that's just unrealistic. I mean, we had to learn how to nurse, for goodness sakes. We had to, in the womb, we have to learn how to swallow. We had to learn how to walk. We had to learn how to talk. So why on earth would this be any different? Of course, you have to learn these skills of personal development, right? Just like you learn business strategy and business skills and marketing and everything is learned. That is what our journey here on this earth is to learn and evolve. And so really having that adjusted mindset on, you know, that's an unrealistic expectation. Why am I holding myself to that? This is something new. Like if I'm learning to speak Spanish for the first time, I'm not going to turn on the Spanish soap opera and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I don't understand what they're saying. You know, this is just pointless. I give up. I should like, I mean, are you kidding me? I'm going to have to like watch the Spanish soap opera and learn Spanish for 6 months before I can probably understand half of what they're saying on the show. The same is true with personal development. It's a skill like anything else. And so it's just like you said, I knew nothing when I started. Now I noticed that I did it one time. Then I noticed that I did it 3 times, and you build it and strengthen that skill set just like any other skill set.
On today's episode, we're answering the question,